Hi there, brothers and sisters in the faith. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to share something that God has been laying on Dawn and I's hearts for years now, and that is this whole thing with money. We've been to the point for about a year or two now where money is a necessary evil to us. We don't want it, but we know we have to have it to live. And that seems to be flabbergasting to some. So I want to share an analogy that God has used with us, and as well as quite a few other people that we collaborate with quite a bit. Um, if you look out there, you see a nice long line of brown piles. That is actually human waste. That is treated at a sewer treatment station, dried out, treated with certain chemicals or enzymes or whatever, and the farmers are paid per acre to put that on, which adds certain nitrates, and from what I'm told, does actually add certain nitrates and whatnot to the ground that yields in better crops. Now, I'm not a farmer and I've never dealt with this stuff, so I honestly have absolutely no idea if that's true or not. Point is, if you take manure, you take poop, and you bunch it up in one area, it becomes an extremely smelly, nasty, vile thing that no one wants. But if you spread it out, it will help things grow. Same way with money. If I were to sit here and put a ridiculous amount of money in my own possession and leave it there, say I have several $1,000,000 and it's all just sitting here benefiting me, it changes my attitude, it changes my outlook on life, it changes my outlook on God, and it does not actually require me to look back at God and say, hey, you know what? I need you on a daily basis. I need you for my daily bread. You know, in the Lord's Prayer, Jesus taught the disciples, ask for your daily bread. Give us this day our daily bread. What is daily bread? Literally, what you need to make it through this day. It's not a matter of, oh Lord, I would really appreciate a BMW this year, or a $500,000 mansion, or whatever. You know what? It's nice stuff to have, but in the end, it's not necessary to your survival. We're just on a journey going through this earth. Yes, you can enjoy it, but don't let it become a focal point. Now, if I were to have that $1,000,000 or several million, whatever, and I were to start saying, hey, I see homeless in Harrisburg, I see homeless in Carlisle, I see homeless in Lancaster, Reading, Altoona, Bethlehem, and I were to start going out there and saying, how can we help these people who, believe me, not all of them want to get off the street, but there are those who do. So how do we help these people get back up off their feet? There are people who literally are homeless because they want to be. There's those who are addicts and their addictions literally consume everything they have, and so that's why they're on the street. And then there are those that are only on the street because finances fell apart, health problems, a layoff, or they got fired or whatever, and they lose everything. The fact of the matter is, if we are hoarding all this money to ourselves, we are not giving each according to his need, as is prescribed in the book of Acts. And then on top of that, it's greed. It is literal greed. If I am sitting here with millions of dollars at my disposal, in Scripture, God tells us that it is God who gives us the power to get wealth. In another Scripture, it is written that God gives wealth to some to help out those who do not have. So by that, I will get back. I will actually look up the references on that. Those scriptures are near and dear to me, but I will get scriptures for you. Hopefully for the next video. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see. We can you can Google it. If you really need it right now, you can actually Google those words or a slight variation of those words. Look at Bible Hub or Bible Gateway. Be able to find all that. To me, that simply states that if God gives me $1 million, it is my duty as a follower of Christ, as a believer, to look out at that group of people that really doesn't have much. And you know what? I was raised a poor boy. Don't get me wrong. I know what it is to go to food banks and basically have to ask for help, even with clothes. And I remember going to school with shoes that my toes were hanging through because we didn't have the money to replace them. And a teacher actually gave me her son's worn out sneakers because they were in better shape than what my shoes were. And it was humiliating. But at the same point in time, I know now that that was an experience that God had given me so that I know where others are at, that I can use that later to bless other people. But what we need to keep in mind is that that teacher did what the book of Acts commanded, if she was a believer or not. She gave each according to his need. Those shoes were considered worn out by her family, her and her husband, her son, fine. But they were better than what I had. And so she says, I haven't thrown them out yet. I'll bring them in tomorrow. And if they fit you, you wear them, and we'll throw away these